The top story, pressure is mounting on Justice Yashwant Varma over the cash haul allegedly found from his residence earlier this month. The three-member probe committee formed by the Supreme Court to probe the allegations visited the judge's house today. Sources say the panel examined Justice Varma's residence for almost 45 minutes, visiting the outhouse and the storage room where the fire first broke out and the pile of cash was allegedly found. The committee is likely to record statements of the first respondents, including the fire and police officials. A meeting with the Delhi Police Commissioner and the fire chief is also on the anvil. Meanwhile, lawyers of the Allahabad High Court have gone on indefinite strike over Supreme Court's decision to repatriate Justice Varma to Allahabad. Let me now go across to one of India's senior most legal eagles. Abhishek Manu Singhvi joins us at this point live. Dr. Singhvi, thank you for speaking to Mirror Now and Beyond the Headline. This is the first time we are hearing from you since this unfortunate episode came to light. What are your views on what transpired at Justice Varma's residence and its implications for the faith that the public have and the judiciary has within the institution itself?
Well, to be honest, I was besieged with requests and calls to speak on it from the day one. And somehow or the other, I felt that I must wait a while, wait and watch. I didn't quite like the idea of rubbing my hands in glee or seem to be rubbing my hands in glee at somebody's discomfiture. It's all too easy to condemn and stigmatize. And I allowed things to settle down. But then it's a matter of public interest, so I decided to speak. I think you are using words of studied moderation. It certainly shakes the very foundations of the justice, trust and confidence system. It shakes the very fibers and the nerves of everything which the ordinary citizen believes in, looks up to, and defers to the judiciary for. So it is a very serious matter. I'm not saying that A is guilty or B is guilty, but the very event and the optics of the event make a complete mockery. And as you've seen, it generates an ancillary industry of some utility for a lot of people who carry on an ancillary business of rumors, speculation, doubts, questions, innuendos, insinuations, etc.
Dr. Singhvi, what do you make of the Bar Council's statement so far? From day one till today, they have been consistent in the stand saying that they are against Justice Varma's transfer back to the Allahabad High Court. They've used some very strong words saying that they deserve better than trash being sent back to them.
Well, ironically, I think temporarily and currently the transfer issue is inconsequential. I respect the sentiments of the bar in Allahabad. I understand their angst.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I ignore that. But I'll tell you why I use the word inconsequential for the time being. Because a judge who has had this event, this cataclysmic event on his head, cannot have any desire or moral authority or stature to sit on the bench for a while. He's not going to be doing judicial work in either Delhi or Allahabad, whether he lives in Allahabad or whether he lives in Delhi. And therefore, this will be all sorted out later. What is very important is to condemn if there is genuine evidence at the end of the report, and to exonerate with honor if there is lack of it and if there is no guilt found. That, I think, is the need of the hour. Until then, I don't think the judge, even if offered, would want to sit on either bench. In that sense, I said it is relatively inconsequential. Of course, once he's exonerated, there can be no problem of him going to even Allahabad. And once he's not exonerated, I don't know how much relevance it would have.
Okay, so Dr. Singhvi, speaking of relevance, today was the first day of the visit of the three-member panel, as we can see on our screens at this point. This has been a panel that has been set up by the CJI himself. Do you think this is a step in the right direction?
Let me start by publicly congratulating the Chief Justice of India. He was straightforward, he was prompt, he went by the book, and he, above all, was remarkably, unprecedentedly transparent. And I don't think there's any fault. Had he not done what he did, just imagine the reverse. All of us would be doubting him, doubting the system, doubting everything. So I think he's acted absolutely unexceptionally. That's why I'm talking to the Chief Justice of India. Now, the committee, of course, has to answer some very disturbing questions, which they alone can find out. And unless those disturbing questions are put to rest, I think the confidence in two things, remember, there are two competing things. My confidence and your confidence in the judiciary, corruptible or less corrupt or not corrupt. Equally, the independence of the judiciary in not being set up or tarnished by false allegations. Now, the questions are obvious. Unfortunately, we don't have the material except the committee. And the committee should get to the root of it very quickly. Question number one is obvious, Ritangshu. Where is the cash? Whether it is 50 crores, 500 crores, or 15 crores, where is it? Rolled up few bundles of burnt cash is not a counted figure. Who got that figure? Where did it come from? Two, where is the seizure report? Where is the panchanama? Where is the inventory? Take a simple case. This door, this outhouse was either locked completely with access only to the Varma family, or it was open to all. There's no third possibility. Now, if it was locked, even if I come to your house as a policeman, before I break the lock, forget a judge's house, I need to have witnesses, punch witnesses, I need to take some video, I need to make sure that I lock under a certain system. I break the lock under a certain system. Now, if that was done, we would know that it's locked or not, but there is a diametrically 180 degrees, two opposing versions about locked, sealed versus open. Then when you opened it, what did you find? How did you find it? This kind of darkroom inventorization is not what I'm talking about. So these are major issues, and I think these will go to the root of the matter in terms of guilt and exoneration also. And I tell you, it's extremely important for a judge and for the entire judicial system to get that honor back in case it is false. As much as it is about my lack of faith in you because you are a corrupt system, it is also equally about you being browbeaten by me into submission and your independence being compromised. So these are two very major competing public interests. And let me tell you, it's very strange. I think there'll be hardly a person in the Delhi bar who will not rate, and I'm talking purely of a judge. I'm not talking about, anybody can do these things, and this would be absolutely indefensible if found to be true. But nobody can say that Justice Varma was not less than a very, very good, almost outstanding judge in the Delhi High Court. In talent, in competence, in demeanor, etc. So I think both system, he and we, deserve a very clear kind of answer. And lastly, when and if and when the committee gives its report, please don't shroud it in secrecy. In terms of details, you can have one or two lines redacted, but the annexures, the documents, and the report should see the light of the day. You've been very transparent in setting it up. You've been very transparent in sharing indeed some of the evidence itself, the video. So please be equally transparent at the end game.
Dr. Singhvi, you've mentioned this twofold restoration of trust that needs to be done from both the citizens' point of view and the judiciary's point of view. Since I represent the interests of my viewers or the citizens in this case, let me talk about the trust deficit that, as a layman, I see the people of the country have in the judiciary, which is gradually being eroded, and that seems to have been further exacerbated by this unfortunate episode. Beyond the commission of this panel, do you think there are some larger steps which need to be done to try and restore the trust deficit that exists between the people of this country and the judiciary?
No, I clearly believe so. You see, we have spent a lifetime in law. When we started practice, you would have in hushed whispers an occasional talk about an occasional district judge who was appeared to be compromised. As time went on, we started hearing these rumors or sayings about high court judges. And now you hear it about judges everywhere. Now, all of us know that they are not mere rumors in every case. All of us know and can sense those who are not walking the path of probity. A lot of us can identify that. I think it all goes back to the source of selection. That has to be really, really dealt with at the root. If you select wisely and well, you cannot eliminate, you cannot insulate and guarantee, but you can reduce it dramatically. So, just packing numbers to satisfy quantity, doing it for partisan reasons, doing it for caste, community, or personal reasons. These are the things we need to be very careful about at the recruitment appointment source. And if you take care of that, a lot of things fall into place. You cannot expect paragons of virtue at the High Court if you recruit from a bar an individual who has very doubtful integrity. You can't expect the same paragon, non-paragon of virtue to become a paragon of virtue when that same chap travels to the Supreme Court. So you need to go to the source. And I must confess that over the last 40 or 50 years, 40, 45 years, that trajectory has nosedived.
Okay, strong words, Dr. Singhvi. I know you're a very busy man, but I'd appreciate you stay on with us for the next 5 minutes if possible, because